Hey there, it's BoardGameDave. Are you looking for a game that you can easily teach to your parents, godparents, grandparents, cousins, kids, your not super into board games friends, if you still have any left, but something that's not a party game, not mind-numbingly boring? Well, look no further than Shifting Stones from Gamewright. This is a game that I became obsessed with about a month or two ago, and I finally got myself a copy, and I've been having so much fun playing this with Hannah and her sister Rachel and her friend Sarah and my sister Amy. We actually just took it to the beach with us this past weekend. It's been a blast. Shifting Stones is an abstract puzzly game for ages 8 and up. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to play, and it plays from 1 to 5 players. Yes, it's got a great solo mode as well. In this game, you'll basically be trying to manipulate and move and flip these tiles around to make them match these objective scoring cards like so. Let's head down to the table and I'll show you exactly how to play this game. Alright, here we are all set up for a game of Shifting Stones. We've got these 9 tiles put out in a 3x3 grid, randomly flipped and arranged, and each player has 4 objective cards like so. And basically these are showing you the arrangement you want to have out here in order to score them. So we call these radishes, 2 radishes on top of each other for a point, or the sun at the top of a column, which is already there for 2 points, a boat next to the moon for 2 points, and then this atrocity of an arrangement for 5 points. Obviously, the harder the arrangement, the more points you get, anywhere from 1 all the way up to 5. So, as I said, the objective of the game is to slide and flip and arrange these tiles to match your objective cards, and once someone's hit the threshold number of puzzles completed, you finish that round and go into scoring, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. So, each player starts with 4 cards. They also get this very handy dandy cheat sheet. This is fantastic. It shows you, first of all, what's on the back of each tile, which is really handy, but also everything you can do on your turn. So let's go ahead and work through our turn actions. And by the way, this is really important. You can do any of these in any order as many times as you like. So I could score a card, flip my stones, shift my stones, and then end my turn, for example, right? You can do up to usually 4 actions, but let's go ahead and work our way through them. So first thing you can do is shift stones. You're going to discard a card, then switch any 2 adjacent tiles, no diagonals. So perhaps, for example, if I want to score this card, I need to discard a card. Well, let's get rid of this one because it's way too hard. We'll discard that over there, and we're going to switch these 2 adjacent tiles like so. Okay? The next thing I can do is very similar. I can discard a card and flip a tile. So maybe if I really wanted to, I could discard this card to flip this over to the blue side, for example. Now, I don't want to do that, so I'll skip that for right now. I could, of course, score a card, and I could have done this first. Reveal a card from your hand that matches the pattern on the tile grid, place it face up in front of you. So, of course, I started my turn with this completed right there. So I can put this in front of me, and there's my 2 points like so. And I also, of course, by sliding over, I got the 2 radishes on top of each other, so I can score this as well. Again, you can take the same action multiple times. So I score that, and now I've got 1 card left. What else could I do? Let's see, shift stones, flip stones, score a card. I can't score this, unfortunately, so I would have to end my turn, draw back up to 4 cards. So I've got my 1, and I would draw 1, 2, 3. Then the next player goes and comes back to me. Of course, this will be all arranged. Then I'll try to get some more tiles like so. So maybe, by the way, flipping that purple back over would give me that blue, but I'd have to discard a card in order to do that, of course. So that's the basic gist. One more thing you can do on your turn. If you don't like the cards in your hand, or for any other reason, you can skip your turn. It says, skip your turn and draw 2 cards from the deck. You may not skip twice in a row. So I'll have 4 cards. I don't do any other actions. I just skip my turn to draw 2 more. Then when it's my turn next, I can do a lot more stuff with these cards. And that's basically it. Now, depending on the player count, you're going to end the game once a certain player has hit at least this many cards. So let's say we're playing a 4-player game. Once a player hits that 8-card threshold, you'll finish the round, so everyone has the same equal number of turns, and then you'll add up your scores. So let's say I was the one that had the 8 cards. Okay, let me get these out of the way. I always like to arrange my cards in point, hierarchy, like so, like so. So in this case, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 4 is 8, plus 6 is 14 points. Now, there is one more small caveat though. The player or the players with the most of these 1-point scoring cards scored gets an additional 3 points. So let's say I had 4 of these and Sarah had 2 of them and my sister Amy had 3 and then Hannah had 4. Hannah and I would each get the additional 3 points. So I'd actually score 17 points in that case. And that is the whole rule set. That's all you need to know. Like I said, it's very easy to learn. It's very easy to teach. Now, there is a full solo mode, but that I'll leave for you to discover on your own. And that's all you need to know to play Shifting Stones. Like I said, it's a very, very easy teach, very simple for even non-gamers to understand. And now let's go through my 6-point criteria to figure out how I would rate this game. First of all, let's talk art and components. I really like these chunky tiles. They're cardboard, but they feel really nice and they're thick, easy to flip around and manipulate. You don't have to worry about damaging these at all, I don't think. The cards themselves are okay. They're kind of flimsy. They're not terribly thick, they're not terribly durable, but they serve their purpose. I like the art. I mean, it's fairly abstract, but it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's fine. I would give the art and components a 9 out of 10, mainly because of these big chunky tiles. Oh, and small disclaimer, the box does not close all the way. I don't know who came up with this, but it doesn't close flush. So if that bothers you, like a tiny bit bothers me, just something to keep in mind. Next is complexity versus audience, and I give Shifting Stones a 10 out of 10 here. Again, it's designed for ages 8 and up. I think it's kind of a family game, a light casual game, but it's not a party game. It's not super silly, and it just has just enough depth to kind of keep you coming back without overwhelming new players. I think it's the perfect complexity for the intended audience, which again is why it gets a 10 out of 10 here. Now, usually my next criterion is thematic integration. I like to talk about how well the theme is woven into the mechanisms of the game. I have no idea what the theme is. There's mystical tiles and we have to rearrange them. I mean, there's not even any theme on the back here. So I'm just gonna put not applicable here. It's an abstract puzzly game. I don't think there's really any thematic anything, so we'll just skip it for this game. So let's skip ahead to intuitive mechanics, and I think the game shines here. Everything you do in this game is fairly intuitive. You discard a card to move a tile, you discard a card to flip it over, you're trying to make your the tiles out here match your cards. It's really, really basic. Again, it makes for a really easy teach. There's maybe a few small things, like for some people discarding the cards. Well, which card do I discard? Does it matter? That can be kind of, curious or confusing in the beginning. Also, the +3 points for whoever has the most ones. I find myself kind of repeating that throughout the game, so that's not super intuitive, but beyond that, everything is very smooth. It's like butter teaching this game. I have no problems teaching this to basically anybody. I'm looking forward to playing it and teaching it to more people. So intuitive mechanics, I give it a 9 out of 5, almost perfectly intuitive, this game. Next is replayability. Now, this is something that I've sort of been thinking about from a philosophical view, I guess, basically. There's no inherent replayability baked into this game. There's no asymmetrical player powers. There's no variant setup, although I guess the tiles are always randomly, arranged at the beginning of the game. But beyond that, there's nothing again, baked into the design that makes for a lot of replayability. That being said, I can definitely see myself playing this over and over again. It's a great game for Hannah and I to play 2-player. It's great to play with bigger groups. It's got a great solo mode as well that you can play over and over again and try to see how well you do. I find it personally very replayable, but objectively, I don't know if it's the most replayable game, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Very replayable to me, but again, maybe not objectively super replayable. Kind of like Splendor, by the way. I've played Splendor well over 100 times. I don't know if it's the most replayable game, but I've replayed it a ton of times and still enjoy it. So there you go, same idea here with Shifting Stones. My next criterion is length and fun factor. And again, I think the game really shines here. The box is 20 minutes. Hannah and I find we can play through a game in about 15 minutes. Even with more players, you can easily finish this game in about 15 minutes, which is fantastic. And I love that building tension as a player gets closer to that end game triggering number. So we're at the beach, Amy hits 8 cards and we're all thinking, oh my gosh, I I've only got 4 cards. How do I get more points at the end of this game here? I know it's my last turn. I love that rising tension toward the climax, the end of the game. So it does really well. I love the short length, great for a short, kind of quick, abstract puzzly game. I give it a 10 out of 10 for length and fun factor. And finally, cost versus value. Now, Board Game Oracle is telling me that this game is averaging about $16.83 online here in the United States. I actually got my copy for just $15, and my general rule of thumb is if I can play a game 2 times for every dollar I spent on the game, I'm very satisfied, and I can very easily see myself playing this game 30 times at least. I'm already over halfway there, so I'm sure this will get a lot more plays. And for 15 bucks in this day and age, to get a solid game with nice components and some bright, vivid, popping art, I think that's fantastic. $15 is not bad at all. So look into this game if it's, it seems like your type of game. For that price, it's a really good deal. Throw it in your collection and teach it to people. It's great, very affordable, 10 out of 10 for cost versus value. And there you go. That's my review of Shifting Stones. Obviously, I am a huge fan of this game, but I think if you are a fan of abstract puzzly games as well, I think you'll really, really like this one. Definitely check it out if it seems up your alley. I think you'll be surprised with how much game they fit inside this little box and with a very small rule set. So there you go, Shifting Stones. I love it. Let me know in the comments, by the way, what your favorite puzzly abstract game is. There's the Azul games, there's Sagrada, there's many, many wonderful abstract games that I love, but let me know your favorite in the comments down below, and maybe you can tell me what my next big abstract obsession will be. But in the meantime, have a wonderful week, take care, and happy gaming. Bye.